One scientist said last month's proton smashing experiment was a bit like firing needles across the Atlantic and getting them to collide halfway. This is the machine that's making those collisions happen. It's called the Large Hadron Collider, or LHC.
It's the most powerful particle accelerator that we have ever built.
20 years in the making, and at a cost of more than $8 billion. The LHC is one of the largest and most sophisticated scientific machines ever made. The collider is held in the 17-mile tunnel 300 feet under the border between Switzerland and France, near Geneva.
From the point of view of the complexity, this is most probably the most ambitious scientific enterprise ever tried by mankind.
So here's how it works. At full power, trillions of subatomic particles called protons race around the LHC ring 11,000 plus times a second. The protons zip through the tunnel at nearly the speed of light. This is a simulation of what happens inside the 17-mile ring. Half the protons run clockwise, half counterclockwise.
One of the big challenges is to bend our high-energy beam of protons around this ring. So we've got these big 15-meter-long bending magnets which actually kind of pull the beam around.
The collisions happen at 4 massive detectors like this one, set up at different points along the collider.
And we basically, they're in a bunch, and most of them miss each other. And every now and then we get a collision between one of these protons.
So when the proton beams collide, they generate temperatures more than 100,000 times hotter than the sun. So to keep the ring from burning up, liquid helium chills it to a cool minus 456 degrees Fahrenheit. The LHC is run by the European Organization for Nuclear Research, also known as CERN. More than 10,000 scientists, engineers, and technicians from 80 countries, including the United States, are involved in the experiment. Scientists here at the CERN Center like to describe the LHC as a sort of a time machine, because the ultimate goal is to recreate the environment nanoseconds after the so-called Big Bang.
When these very powerful particle beams collide together inside our experiments, what actually goes on there is, in that very tiny instant of time, is we're recreating an area of huge energies. We're actually recreating what the universe looked like a billionth of a second after the Big Bang. And if we can do that, we can photograph, essentially, what went on in it.
Dr. SHEARS and the others here say they are trying to understand and make sense of the world we live in. What makes the universe tick, if you will? What sticks it together? What makes it look the way it does?
What we want to find out is, why are we here? What happened in the very beginning? Where do we come from? What are we made of? Where do we go to? Now we have finally the chance to study that in the laboratory by just recreating the conditions as they were at that time.
On March 30th, the LHC, also known to some as the Big Bang machine, set a collision record by smashing together billions of protons at 3 times more force than ever before.
And we've brought them into collision in each of the 4 experiments.
Scientists estimate the collisions produce about 700 megabytes of data per second. They'll spend the next 18 to 24 months doing billions of such collisions and analyzing the data.
If we are lucky, within a few months, we'll be able to really start a major adventure in modern physics.
And a key part of the adventure in all this includes the search for the Higgs boson, a theoretical particle that scientists believe is crucial to understanding how the universe functions. The Higgs has also been called the God particle. And if the tests don't find it, that could be a serious blow to modern science.
It means that we've really been on the wrong track in our understanding of how the universe has evolved and what makes it link together at the very smallest scales. When it comes down to it, there's so much in the universe that we don't understand, even very fundamental things, even things as fundamental as mass, weight.
Since last month, physicists say they've created more than 10 million mini Big Bangs. The data from these collisions are fed to tens of thousands of computers around the world. Thousands of scientists will spend the next several years analyzing the data from the Large Hadron Collider, hoping to unlock the secrets of the universe. George Thomas, CBN News, Geneva, Switzerland.